it's Friday, and you know Friday always makes me feel good, but you know what else makes me feel good? E-skate. Yeah, today we've got one from MAXFIND. This is their brand new MAX6. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and yeah, today we've got one from MAXFIND. Now MAXFIND, they've been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I first started looking at electric skateboards, that was one of the first companies that I found. I've reviewed a couple of their boards on here in the past, and the FF belt that I've got, that is in my top 6 boards, because it's my street board. It's the one that I've outfitted with the Mad wheels and all that. So this is the MAX6. And one of the things that I like about that board is the deck. This thing has that same type of deck. It is a composite deck. It's not made of wood. It's like a glass fiber composite, like aircraft grade stuff. It's got flex to it and stuff. Well, let's do this. I've got a lightning unboxing that we'll do here in just a minute, and a whole bunch of ride and talk footage. So let's get right into the specs. Right off the top on the website, you're gonna find that the price is right on this thing. It's an inexpensive board, especially for what you're getting. Its list price is $699. They've got it listed at $649, and that is with the 105mm Galaxy Cloud wheels. They do have another option if you want 90mm PU wheels, but if you ask me, $50 more for Cloud wheels, that is worth it. Not only that, ships immediately from local warehouse, free shipping, and 270 days warranty, so that's fantastic. So some highlights: 26 mile per hour top speed, 31 mile range. Always take that with a grain of salt. You gotta remember that they're probably testing these with a 165-pound rider. I'm 195 pounds, so that's 30 pounds heavier. That's gonna affect it. Also, the conditions, if you're riding up hills and in wind and all that stuff. So perfect conditions, lightweight rider, you might get that range. 30% hill climbing, best for long distance riding, RGB atmospheric lighting. And I really like how they've built those into this board. They're actually pretty nice. They're not super bright in the daytime. I didn't get any footage of riding at night, but at night they're nicely bright and lights up the ground around you. The version I've got has the 105mm Galaxy Cloud wheels, and they do have smart control with an app. The app is the Tuya app, and I've seen a couple of other skateboard companies using that as their app, and it's pretty intuitive. I didn't try it with this board. I'm sure it works. So this has 2 900-watt high-power belt motors on it. It's using 21700 10-amp-hour Samsung cells. It's got a Hobby-Wing V6 ESC, and it says IPX5 waterproof rating. To me, that's a minimal waterproof rating, and honestly, I just don't recommend that you ride these things in the wet. It's slippery, and things can happen, and they're already dangerous enough at 25 miles an hour riding down the road on something that's that close to the ground and everything else. So just, that's my recommendation. But you will see that I tested it on some wet grass, and you'll see what happens in the riding footage. And of course, regenerative braking. Some of the other stuff you see there is, well, it's what you would expect with an electric skateboard. Has a U-shaped concave composite deck, flex shock absorbing PPS composite, and instead of your typical sandpaper style grip tape, it's got this rubber mat on it. And it's same thing as on the FF belt. It's pretty much what they use. It's different from other companies, and I gotta tell you, I like it. It is nice. It's like a non-slip material on there, and you know what? You don't end up tearing up your fingers or your clothes or whatever you're setting it down on, so I do like that. One of the benefits, aside from the flexiness of that X composite, as they say, never breakage. I don't know though, I mean, I haven't had one break on me, so. And apparently this is a new PPS composite that's stronger and more elastic, so that's good. And one of their things is that they strongly oppose the use of bamboo and maple materials that contribute to environmental degradation. Here's a shot of that 7mm U-shaped composite deck. It has a 7mm deep footwell. And I gotta tell you, it actually does lock your feet in quite nicely. The only thing is, when I'm riding this, it doesn't really have any kind of pronounced, you know, at the ends there. So I really, sometimes I gotta look down to see where my feet are, and it's not quite as long as some of the boards that I ride, so I do have to kind of pay attention to that. In the front impact protection pad, that's this right here. It's actually a piece of rubber that is up underneath there. I don't know how well that's gonna protect. I mean, if you hit something, is it just gonna go like that? But either way, that's it's a little something extra, so I like that. It's kind of a little bumper nose. And right here they say powerful monsters. It's equipped with 2 powerful 900-watt belt motors, delivering outstanding performance with a top speed of up to 26 miles per hour. Now the trucks that are on here, this is somewhat new. These are 45° Max 3 12-inch forged trucks. And I gotta say, they're a big improvement over the previous trucks on MAXFIND boards, so this is kind of new. Now that thing right there, the red to the black right there, I thought that was like, oh, is there like this is like a sleeve over this part of it? No, this is just how they're formed. and they just did that as an extra accent, but it looks like it's kind of peeled away to see the underneath of it. And this right here is where the ESC goes. That heat sink right there is a metal heat sink, also important because, yeah, these things do get pretty hot. All right, that was kind of a lot of information. Let's get right to that lightning unboxing, and then we'll go take a ride. All right, so this is not my first time riding the board. I've actually ridden it a couple of times. It's a cool little board. I got to tell you, I really enjoy it. It's got the, it's got belt drive on it. It's got some nice powerful motors. You've got those Galaxy wheels on here from Cloud Wheel. And this deck is just fantastic. I love the flex of these decks. They're just nice. It's a composite. And then instead of grip tape, which, you know, I mean, traditional grip tape is great, but this kind of rubber mat stuff, at first I was kind of skeptical about it, but it works really, really well. So I've got this in Speed 2, which is my cruising mode. That's basically what I ride this thing on. But man, it's got plenty of power in that. Let's just take it down to the first speed. All right, first speed. Top speed on that, 10 miles. 10 miles per hour, that's it. Let's take it to speed number 2. Got a speed bump coming up here, so we'll see how we contend with that. "17 miles per hour. Okay, now we're on speed 2. I'm sorry, speed 3 we'll do here. And we got 21 miles per hour speed on that. Yeah, it's pretty hot out here. But yeah, 21 miles per hour, not too shabby on that. So really, the speeds that we saw when running it without a rider on there is pretty accurate. Okay, so let's just go for 4 here and stop. And this one, the top speed is gonna be higher than I like to go, so I'm probably not gonna do that, but we'll just see how it does on the, ooh, all right. It's got some power. Now, if I was on one of my boards that I ride all the time, I probably wouldn't have a problem going over 22 miles per hour, but that's what we got to, is 22 miles per hour. That is pretty darn good. All right, just taking it down to speed 2, my cruising speed. handles the speed bumps well, but you know, I'm on this rougher ground now. And even though we got cloud wheels on here, it's nothing like pneumatics. But still not nearly as rough as if I was, you know, riding on regular urethanes, okay? So clouds definitely make a difference. Take it back here. This is a fun place to ride, but there are a lot of pine needles and pine cones and stuff, so really got to pay attention out here. All right, going up a hill on speed 2. And only a tiny little bit of slowdown on that hill. That's pretty good. But man, the flex on this thing, ooh. That flex is just awesome. That's probably the best part about it. Lots and lots of debris on this road. You can hear them crackling away, rocks and pine cones and all that. But it handles it, no problem. So that's good. Let's take this over and do some hills, huh? Now, I did loosen these trucks up at least a full turn. They're tight from the factory, so something to keep in mind with that. But even though I loosen these trucks up, they're still not loose enough to make a turn that tight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to get off the board and flip it around. I gotta say, the grip tape on here, grip tape, I guess, is not exactly the right term for it, but this grip mat that's on here, I kind of like it. You know, it doesn't chew up your clothes, doesn't chew up your hands or your gloves, and it works really well. This hill right here is a longer hill that gets steeper at the top. So here we are at the bottom of this hill, and as you can see, the hill, it gets pretty steep up at the top. I want to say it's probably about a 20% grade. This board can actually handle that, no problem. Let's just see how we do. Yep, no problem. Third speed, accelerated all the way up. Let's take it to this hill over here. It's a little more steep. Woohoo, yeah. Definitely more steep, at least at the top of it. All right. And we're gonna stop, we're gonna do it from a dead stop, all right? So let's flip this around here. Good brakes. The brakes are nice and smooth. Of course, you can adjust the brake level on here if you want to. And what the heck, let's go ahead and do this. 1, 2. The light should be on now. I don't know if you can even see these lights in the daytime, but this is a good test for that. All right, dead stop. Ooh. Okay, here we go. Yeah. That is no problem whatsoever. Cool. So you might have noticed in the unboxing some unique packaging. I haven't seen any other companies doing this. It's like this huge bubble wrap capsule type of thing, and it seems that it works really well. So that's kind of cool. I'd like to see innovation like that. And it does reduce the carbon footprint, I would say, too. Kind of just a little thing, but it's those little things that count. It's that plastic case that you get with it to keep all of your stuff in there, because usually when I get these things, I'm like, let me get a plastic Ziploc and put all the stuff for this board in there. And I've got several of them, so it's easier for me to keep them, but that's nice to have that. I love the lines and aesthetics of this deck. I mean, there's just all kinds of little flourishes as you look at the bottom of the deck here. Everything is nicely formed and shaped. Then you got these little facets on the end. It's a good looking board. You know, for a street board, I really like to have some flex to it. And this X Composite thing is super sexy flexy. It's flexible and it's just really comfortable to ride. I like that. The trucks on this are reverse kingpin, so they're not going to be quite as turnable as a double kingpin type board, but for a street board, they're really stable and really solid. They came from the factory really, really tight. You know, I loosened them a couple of times and they were still very tight. But you can't expect to be doing hairpin turns, you know, that kind of thing, U-turns in the middle of a narrow street. But that can be an advantage for stability. So now I can see a lot of people that are new to electric skateboarding picking one of these up because the price is right. It's got some pretty cool features to it. So the fact that acceleration and braking on here are buttery smooth, also important, and I can tell you it really is. And if you're tempted to save 50 bucks and get the one with the PU wheels on it, hey look, if you're into urethane wheels, straight up urethane, go for it, man. But you saw that riding on that rougher asphalt, which a lot of times you are, it's pretty rough. I say go ahead and splurge. Spend the extra 50 bucks. Get those Cloud Wheel Galaxy wheels. You might as well. Ultimately, this is a great board, especially in that price range with the features that it has. That is the MAXFIND MAX6. And I want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions are always very important to my channel. So if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and there's a notification bell right next to that. Hit both of those. You'll get notifications when I upload new videos. Your support means the world to me. I've been doing this since 2013, and the electric skateboard stuff I've been doing now for about 3 years. Absolutely love it. It's my Zen space, and the fact that I get to share it with you, well, that's just like the cherry on top, you know? So thank you so much for your support and for watching these videos. Well, it's Friday. It's about beer 30. It's time for me to get out of here. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.